Hello and welcome, I am the Sterling and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last episode we finished off basically everything that we had planned. So what does that mean? Well, that means it is now time for us to start planning out new things. Yes, we still have to dig the tunnels underneath, but I want to build something on top. But before we can do any of that, I need one vital material. I need limestone. As you can see over here on the right, we don't have any. And we've only got 314 limestone bricks left over, right? So you go, hey, Sterling, mine some more then. And guess what? I would love to mine some more. But as you can see, we have completely checked out now of limestone. It's all gone, look. So then that brings us to a new predicament. Where are we going to get limestone from? Yes, there are plenty of places along the map where we can get limestone. For instance, over here in the top left-hand corner where the river starts, there's a little bit of a patch here. But most of that's iron and coal. It's quite rubbish. Now, there's a little bit down here where the river ends, but it's not really worth our time. Plus, it's a bit of a distance away from the castle. I'll have to build some stairs, which opens us up to attack from the rear, which we've already made that mistake once before. Once again, there's a little bit over here, just off from where the coal mine is. Which, speaking of the coal mine, we also want to get rid of that. You see, having the coal mine down here, we have to have stairs. And as I just mentioned, this opens us up for attack from below. There's no point us having a moat and walls and all this defense if the enemy can just scale a few ladders and we're done. So we need to close this up. And besides, I want to start pushing this area out and building in here. But we'll come back to that. So then where are we going to build the new mines? Lucky for us, there's a large supply of coal literally just out the front door. And then there's quite a lot of limestone just up the top here. I've already started planning out where to dig for some of the limestone, as you can see, and I'll continue going through. But now I'm going to start digging out the coal here. And as you can see, there's some clay as well if we need it. But we're right for clay at the moment. So first of all, let's plan out digging the coal. We'll just do some strips at first, like so they don't accidentally dig themselves into a hole, and then we can come through and clean all that up later. Now, I'm overreaching with all the coal, only because we're going to need some dirt for what I've got in mind. And that's another thing we're out of, is dirt. So I don't mind if we accidentally dig a little bit more than we need. And we'll come up here and we'll start digging out some more limestone. Give them plenty of things to do. Now, on top of all this, we're going to need a place to store all this. Because the castle, its storage is just chock-a-block. It's ridiculous. So what we'll do is we'll come down and we'll put a bit of storage here. Put it right here. Done. Clear and add materials. Done. So now they'll start digging all that out and place it here. Means we'll come down to the mine and we'll delete the storage for all this clay and iron we've got right here. That way our army of pups can come down here and start transporting all this to the storage that we've just created. That way we can destroy this hut and move on. Because I don't think we're going to need to mine any iron anytime soon. Have a look at all that. And truth be told, if we need any more iron, we'll just get it from the new mine. So this mine's now done. In my spare time, I'm going to go through and delete all our ladders and stairs and stuff like that we've got, but I don't really see much of a need. So now, we've given them plenty of things to dig, let's give them something to build. We'll start off small and ease them in, because for once, they actually don't have anything to build, and they might be out of practice, so let's ease them in. So we've got the Oak Brethren Cathedral over here, but we need some place for the restitutionists to be able to pray. So as it stands right now, this room over here in the west wing does not have a purpose. And due to the fact that the production of wine is taking place under this room, there's not really too many things that we can do with it. So let's turn this into a little chapel. Might just put a couple of windows, a couple of little places to pray. Doesn't have to be anything too big, just a little place where the restitutionists can come and pray. There you go, so a couple of windows in. I was a bit hesitant about putting windows in there, to be honest with you, only because nowhere else on this build have I put windows at ground level outside of the castle. So I don't know about that. I might come back and take those windows away. But in turn, that would make this room very dark. Now, let's put in a few shrines. Something like this. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just like so. And now we need to put in the wall decorations. 1, 2, and 3. Done. So they'll build that up, and that will be our Restitutionist church. We can then come in later on and add a few more decorations, braziers, things like that. But for the moment, that will do the trick. Now, moving over here, we can delete the storage. And now we're going to start building this area up. We're going to start pushing our castle further down. But like I said before, we do not have any dirt. So as we're mining it from underneath the ground, we're not going to store it for too long. We're going to put it straight on the back end here until we've built this up. And then we can build a wall and a moat, because I've got a plan for this area. Whether or not my plan will actually work is another story. But I do have a plan. I like having plans. They just don't always work. So let's start planning this out. So first of all, let's nick off the stairs. And we can lay down our first layer of dirt. Done. And may as well add it to the wall like that. Done. Once the stairs are gone, I'll add the next layers of dirt down the other two. They can start filling them and it'll be fantastic. What we'll do is we'll let them build it from above. It's how I did it last time. I just continued to let them build it from above and they just kept on pushing it out. It seemed to work all right. It was slow going, but we're going to be giving them enough things to do that I don't see an issue. I think we've given them plenty to do for the moment. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. Fantastic, we've got a new settler coming in. I'd like to introduce you to Catherine. We now have 1 day and 19 hours until the search party arrives to come and try and take her. So let's make sure we delete those stairs leading up to the back door before they arrive. Well, have a look at that. They have not wasted any time putting in the dirt. I just came over here to make sure they were getting rid of the stairs. I was not expecting to see that. That's great. Well, in that case, let's double down. Let's see them do this then, eh? Done. Okay. Now they can do that. 1 day, 17 hours. So I've been quite busy going around sorting out our storage. For a long time now, I've just been building more and more storage, and just anything that's laying about, I go, okay, that can go here, that can go there. Just willy-nilly just jamming everything wherever it will fit. And it just doesn't work for me. So what I've done is, first off, I've taken everything off the floor here in the storage that used to be the cellar under the fort, which is now going to be used for the blacksmith, and littered it with armor and weapon racks. This involved me going to the research tab and researching furniture level 2, which has given me quality bed, the armor rack, to which you see that we're using now, and then a bunch of candles, and then storage chests. So I've put them here, and I've also put them in the small armory underneath the keep. So that's sorted that. Then I've gone through and just tightened things up a bit across all storage. So limiting what can go where. That way we can really specialize our storage areas. So now, another advantage of us researching Furniture 2 is we now get quality beds. Which is good, because quality beds won't just help our settlers become more well rested, it will also change the way they feel about their room and raise their mood. So we're going to start going through all living quarters now across the castle, changing all the beds from wooden hay beds to quality beds. Which is also good because we've got so much hay and so much linen that we need to get rid of it somehow. So this is a perfect way to do it. Fantastic. Now once they're built, I can go and delete some more somewhere else and change them over. And here we go. Straight away we're pausing and having a quick little gander. Nah, doesn't look like there's any trebuchets. That's always good news. Now let's have a look at what we're going up against. Couple of heavy armoured, couple of archers, majority are just thugs. Nothing really much to worry about. As long as we get everybody inside, that is. And here they come. So we must make sure to pick off their archers first. There's an archer right here. Get him. There's quite a few archers. I didn't realise there were so many. Just gotta make sure that no one's getting hurt. Eleanor's taken a few hits, so we'll have to keep our eye on her. If she gets too hurt, we'll have to pull her back. Wow. Most of them were archers. I really didn't look too well, did I? Yep, we're gonna have to pull Elenor. So then she doesn't end up dying on us. That'd be horrible. Oh, Harold's taken a couple of hits. That's not good. Who's hitting Harold? Was there a good shot? I think it's this Seafried. Seafleed? Yes, I'm not even going to attempt to try and say that one. We want this one over here. Good. And the last archer. Let's get them. They're heavily armored, but that doesn't bother us. Yes! 12 sworn enemies died during the fight. Good news is, none of our died. Though, I think Elenor got pretty close there. Now, can we finish this one off before Dudley runs away? There's always a Dudley. Have you ever noticed? Go. Get him. Really? Oh, yes, that's a hit. And come on. Senwolf? Senwolf? I have no idea. Well, that was a nice, easy one for us, wasn't it? Now, let's get everyone healthy. Is that undrafted? Yes. So everyone's undrafted. We'll get them to pick all this stuff up. Though in saying that, I don't actually know if we've got any room for it. Oh, no, it says there we do. Okay. That's not the end of the world then. Oh, we've got no room for the armor. We really need to start deconstructing all this armor and then collecting nothing but the good stuff. Let's have a look what they're dropping. Flimsy. See, flimsy. All this flimsy stuff can just be deconstructed. Bit of practice. See, that's sturdy. But even then, I think we're beyond sturdy now. See, like, look, good. Good armor. Fine armor. See, I think we need to go through and raise the level of things that we deconstruct. Because we keep raising it ever so slightly. And look, why is there a bit of timber there? That can be destroyed. But we keep raising the level of things to be deconstructed. But I don't know what we're actually keeping. So that's going to be the next thing on my agenda. Next to feeding whoever's starving. So where are we at the moment? Well, we've gone through and we've put in all the quality beds. And we have created all 4 entrances to the tunnels underneath. And they're doing a pretty good job of digging these tunnels, I must say. I'm quite impressed. They're digging from the center, and they've also begun digging from 2 of the 4 entrances on the edge of the map. Unfortunately, I'm having a lot of issues with them becoming tired, cranky, starving, all that sort of stuff. They're traveling too far for a lot of these mining jobs. Now, I'm not prepared to build homes away from home. I want them to travel, do their job, and go back to the castle. I don't want to replicate what I had at the mine last time. Hence, I now have 2 mines closer to home. So what have I done? I've shortened the workday. Now they have 3 hours of leisure in the morning. They work for 4, 2 hours of leisure in the midday. They work for another 4, and then 3 hours in the night. Now, I'm actually contemplating taking those 2 hours of leisure out and adding an hour either side and having them work 8 hours straight. Because I am finding what they're doing is they'll work for 4 hours, then they'll turn around and start coming back for a bit of leisure, stop halfway, turn around and go back to work, which sort of defeats the point. So right now I'm going to leave it as it is, but don't be surprised if I do change that. Now that brings us here to the edge of the castle that we've built so far. I have finally decided how big we're going to make the castle. At the moment, from this tower here to that tower there, it is 30 blocks. From this tower to that tower, it is also 30 blocks. Do you want to take a guess what from this tower to this supposed tower over here is going to be? And you'd be correct. 30 blocks. So we're going to build 30 blocks out, which that's 30 there. So the next block in line would be this beginning of the tower. And then that means we now know how far we're going to build our moat. Now what we're going to do with this wall, we're going to try and do something a little bit special. It's not going to be simple. And this was the project I was talking about earlier on in the episode when I said there's a good chance it ain't going to work. But in my head, I can see something a bit fun. So I will try something there. But this is not a project for this episode. This project I've got in mind, there's a lot of key components to it that's going to take some time. And any one of those key components, if it doesn't work, the whole project's bust. So I'm going to take my time and make sure I do it correctly. So the good news is we now know how big we're going to be making the castle. So now we know where we can build the moat. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to plan out the digging of the moat because honestly, we need more dirt and we're just not getting enough. So if I can start digging out a big chunk of this moat, guess what? There's our dirt. So let's do that. There we go. That's a good starting point for us. They're doing a fantastic job down here. We've pushed out the moat a little further now, as you can see, and we've started digging out a little bit of extra here and there. But have a look how quickly they're filling in this dirt. Nearly every day, they're just doing another strip. They're really smashing that out. We have now also begun planning out the next little phase that I was talking about. As you can see, we're going to dig all the way out to here. They've already dug this section out here. And so the water will run all the way through here when it's complete. I have changed the roster, as I was saying before, so now they work 8 hours straight with 3-hour rest either side. I'm finding this is much better. They are no longer grizzling every 5 minutes, and they're actually getting back in time to eat, rest, pray, everything else. So that's fantastic. And it is that time again. We're being raided. But I'm having a bit of a look. They haven't brought a trebuchet with them. So that's good. We're not going to lose anything today. Well, building-wise, we could still potentially have someone die. But come on, Sterling. Be a bit more, I don't know, positive. So, what have we got here? Well, there's a couple of blokes who are armoured up. 3, to be precise. Oh, we got a battering ram. That's going to be fun. I wonder if we kill them and they drop that battering ram, will someone else pick it up? But anyway, I digress. I may as well give you an update while we're here. What have we been doing? Well, we're slowly digging through. We've actually now built the base for the corner tower, and we're slowly just building it up. Now, the reason why I've planned this section out here is because we are going to be having a bit of fun with it all, as you can see. And looking at it, I don't know that's correct. Yeah, that's the height of the tower, and then I counted that it was 2 down, and that's a gap. Yep, yeah, okay, so never mind. Ignore me. I'm having a moment. So yes, I've just planned that section out there because I wanted to make sure that it will all work, and at this point, fingers are still crossed. I've had to delete some of the wall that I've planned out because in the past I've had this big issue where I'll plan out the entire wall or the tower or whatever it is I'm doing. And then it hits a point where they'll build something before something else and it blocks us in and I have to build scaffolding and stuff. And I'm so sick of building scaffolding. It's such a fluff about. So now I'm trying to go ahead and build stuff layer by layer the way it probably should be done. That way I'm not having to go back later and build scaffolding. The one major problem I am having with this though is we keep getting held up waiting for limestone blocks because yeah, we've got a little bit of limestone, but we've got bugger all limestone blocks. So we're getting held up a bit with that, but that's all right. We've still got so much terraforming still to do, so it's not the end of the world. And we've still got all this still to dig out, and there's another layer that I've got to dig out below that. So that's all right. While we're here, because I am trying to dig this all out ASAP, so then I can plan out the wall. There we are. So they can dig that out. Then I can drop some limestone blocks in there. That's all going to be filled in. This is going to be all built up because this whole layer is going to be that height. So from the outside, it's going to be this huge wall, but in reality, it's actually not going to be that high. I'm also going to come through and level out all this, chop all this out. I might leave that one there, but this one here needs to go because when we've got the moat built, that's going to be a really sharp edge. So even if I do leave that, I've got to cut away at it a little bit. Just make it look a bit more natural. At this point, it will just look like we've gone through with a laser and cut it. And I don't like that. I haven't completely decided how we're going to do the wall on this side. Part of me is going, okay, we'll just build a straight wall down here. We'll have a tower over here and you'll have tower and tower. But we've already got a really straight wall. On this side, so far, we have just been running along with the topography of the actual river. I'm thinking we still might actually jut out from here and follow this little ridge around here. And then the other tower would end up maybe over here? I don't know. I'm still looking at this going, well, how much more space are we going to have? What more do we want to build? Because I don't want to cut off my nose to spite my face. I don't want to build a courtyard or something here and then go, oh, bugger, I wish I had more space. We've run out of room. And then go through and have to knock something down, or which then again, it could be a project on its own. But it always just comes back to the old case of measure twice, cut once. But I have big plans for this wall, which, like I've said in the past, I still don't know if it's actually going to work. Maybe before I planned it, I should have gone and made a little mock-up and actually test physics and all this other stuff and been like, okay, no, what I'm going to spend a couple of days doing in real life is actually going to work. But, I may as well be just as surprised as you. So where were we? Well, before I went off on a little rant, we were preparing to be attacked. So let's do that, shall we? Wow, that was cutting it a bit close, as you can see. Alfred is only now just getting into the castle, and they're just on the ridge over here. That's cutting it really close. Because they're now working so far away, when the enemy spawns just over here, we almost don't make it back. Now, it won't be such an issue when we actually have the tunnels running under the base, but for the minute, we keep cutting it pretty close. Here we go. And do we have any archers coming in? No, there is no archers. It's essentially just a turkey shoot. Wow, they look really enthusiastic, don't they? They're just sort of waddling around like, oh, all our friends have died. I'm not in this anymore. Look. Oh, really? The dog just opened up the door. Nearly let everyone in. Will people stop opening the bloody door for them? Well, the big guy with the battering ram's down. I'm not even going to pretend to be enthusiastic. They weren't. That was so easy. Well, finish them off. Come on. Yep, and the last two, let's do it. Yes. Yay. Fantastic. That was far too easy, I tell ya. We need a bit of a challenge. But maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should enjoy these easy battles for the moment, because in 5 minutes, when they're bringing like 3 trebuchets and plenty of highly armored troops, and I'm going, I miss the days when they used to come with like sticks. But that's all right. And as you can see, we can pick up the stuff. We've got so much storage now, and I've gone through and they're breaking down everything up to good. So next phase, I'll get them to break everything up to, what's after good? Fine. And they're straight away repairing the door. Cool, look, we've got some limestone. That's fun, see? Well, leave it with me. I'm thinking it's high time that we start decking out our troops the way we want them. We're at a point now where we could be picking and choosing the armor, the helmets, everything, and not relying so much on outside influences such as what we pick up off the ground of the enemies. Because right now, we are still only producing gambesons and light armor. And what's the point of that? We're not wearing that. Most of what we're wearing is either mail or plate. And I would love to make it that everybody using melee weapons is in plate armor, and everybody that's using the bows in mail. Really deck them out. So let's come up to the research tab, and we're going to research armor level 2. This will be for our mail and this will be for our male helmets. Unlock. Now, we're going to need quite a few more textbooks. The Sterling mustn't be in the library. Let's go have a look. What's he doing? Ah, yes. He's been building. Let's flip that over. There we go. Get him back up there. Now we can start making male armor. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come here into manage. And we're going to start telling our archers to wear male armor. The way we're going to do that is we're going to go edit armor. We're going to go add new. We're going to call this archer, or we could just call it male. Yeah, we can do that. And we're going to tell them what they're allowed to wear, which we're going to tell them they're only allowed to wear male armor. Now, for the moment, it can be of any quality because, let's face it, the quality that we're producing is pretty rubbish. Done. And now we can go through all our archers and tell them to put on male armor. Fantastic. Now, let's do the same thing for our melee. We want them in plate. I don't care what level of plate, because right now, once again, we've got everything from crap to perfect. So I don't care what they're using, just as long as it's plate. So let's go edit armor. Now we'll add a new one. We'll call it plate. Come in, turn off everything, and tell them to put on plate. Perfect. And now we'll go through, and once again, just tell them to put on plate armor. Good. Next, we're going to come to the armorer's table. We're going to start a new dismantle. We're going to go dismantle for cloth. Everything other than summer clothes, hats, all that sort of jazz. So all your light armors, your gambesons, everything like that, we're going to break them all down. No more light armor. Only mail and plate will we keep. We'll also start smelt for metal. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and anything that we don't want, heretic helmet can go, horned helmet can go, savage plate armor can go, metal battering rams can go, two-handed warhammers can go, warhammer can go, great axe. You get where I'm going with this. Right, so anything that we know that we're not going to want, I'm breaking it down. I'm not messing about. And now I'm just going to go through to all of the other tables and do something very similar. So we're no longer going to create spears, and I basically want all wooden stuff just to be broken down, except for the crossbows and etc. What's over here? We want hoods gone, we want neck stuffs, handkerchiefs, that, socked, and yes, once again, gambesons, light armor, yep. Perfect. So now that puts us in a good place. We're now going to start breaking down everything that we don't want, and we're just going to be left with mail and plate. Now, let's come back up to manage, and we're going to deal with the helmets. Right, so we're going to create a new helm. We're going to call it melee, and they're going to wear great helm and pig face. Light armor, mail, mask, horn, all this is gone. Fantastic. And same goes for the archers. Create a new one, name it archer. And we're going to tell them that they can wear not just kettle helmets, but also male helmets. I do prefer the look of the kettle helmets. It is a shame that we can't make them. Now, I do understand that this means a lot of people ain't going to be wearing headgear or helmets and such, which isn't ideal. But I'm hoping before our next raid, I can actually get on top of all this and actually pump out some gear for them to all wear. That's the plan. Whether or not that's actually going to happen is a whole other story, but I need wishful thinking. And now I'll just go through and add it all. There's going to be so much gear just laying around where everyone's just stripping off all their armor willy-nilly anywhere. The dogs are going to have to run around and pick it all up. Now, edit weapons. Once again, you know the drill. And we'll call it crossbow. And guess what it's going to be? Crossbows. The answer was crossbow. So light, I don't care what kind of crossbow. It's a crossbow. Right, done. Drop that, go grab a crossbow. In fact, thinking about it, maybe we should double check how many crossbows we've actually got. No, we've got none. We've got no crossbows. So maybe we shouldn't go a bit silly until we actually have the crossbows. Once again, I got to come up to jobs. I do have quite a few people more concentrating on construction and digging than I should. I am just trying to get a bit of work done, but maybe we should drop it. So who's our carpenter? Right, so 4 for you over here. Who's our blacksmith? Smithing's over here. So mining and construction is also 4 for you. We should probably raise craft anyway so they can get on top of all that. And tailoring and tailoring. There we go. So now when everyone wakes up, we'll get on top of everything and it'll be fantastic. We've now got enough textbooks that we can research Armourer 3. So let's do that. Done. Now we can come down to the Armourer's table and we can add the Great Helm and we can add plate armour. And we'll tell them until we have 15 of each. Now I'm back here on the Manage tab. Now that all the melee is wearing plate armour, they really don't need to be using a shield anymore. So what I'm doing is I've gone through and I've told everyone to pick up a two-handed weapon. And there we go. That's our first crossbow complete. So let's go up to Manage. We'll come up to Alfred. He's the lucky bloke that gets the first crossbow. And there we go. Done. Crossbow. We're slowly going to kit everybody out with the crossbow. Though that took like 2 days for them to make one. So I think it's going to take them a little while to be all kitted out with crossbows. Fantastic. We've now got enough to unlock crossbows level 2. That's exactly what we're going to do. Done. So now we can start making heavy crossbows. In fact, we will now stop making bow and arrows altogether. So now it's just heavy and light crossbows. Done. Now let's see the heavy armoured enemy try and take our gates. Still got plenty getting planned out here. It's all slowly moving across. It is painstaking though. We are running out of dirt so quick. We just can't get on top. And I've actually been having a bit of a look. And I think even after we dig all this out, that's still not going to be enough dirt to do all that I want to do here. So I'm going to have to find more dirt somewhere. It's not like it's impossible to find. There's plenty of things I could do. I could level this entire ground out if I really wanted to. Now we've got enough that we can research preserving food, which is really good. It means that our settlers will be able to carry a packaged meal on them that they can eat on the go. So we're going to unlock that now. Done. So we're now going to go down to the kitchen and we're going to add packaged meals and we're going to do until we have 10. We're also going to come up and we're going to change lavish meals until we have, we'll say 150. So I've gone through and I've marked all our marksmen to have crossbows. We are now producing enough that everybody can have one. That is fantastic. Everybody now has plate armor if they're melee and has mail armor if they're range. Because all our melee are wearing plate armor, there's not much point them having a shield anymore. So I've gone through and I've given everybody a bardish. And that's going to work out really, really well. It has high armor penetration, which will be good, especially moving forwards. And we're going to be having higher tier enemies coming with heavier armor. We need that penetration. Plus, being a two-handed weapon, it is my understanding it can go through grated doors, which that will come in handy. So now it's just a matter of making a whole bunch of them, deconstructing all the swords, shields, all the other crud we don't want, and then we can start making our storage quite a bit smaller because we're storing armor and weapons everywhere at the minute, and I want to bring all that down. So now we're quite lucky. We've had some cattle arrive, as you can see here. Maybe later down the track, cattle will be put here or out here or somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure. But for the moment, I think this will be a nice little place to have a little cattle field. So let's do that now. What we'll do is we'll do a little path here and we'll connect it through here. Done. Next, we need a fence, which I have no idea where it is. Let's take 45 minutes to find the damn thing. It's a gate, that's a fence. Limestone fence, we'll go from here. Then we'll go here. See how this looks. It might be a bit too much. I don't know. Corner these off. And we'll put the gate maybe about there, eh? Done. And now we'll have to put a pen marker in there. We'll put one right there. Done. Now once they build that, we'll have a pen for our cattle. That'll be great. There we go. So the pen marker is now being built. Now once we build the walls, that will become a pen. We're just going to go through, make sure it's selected as being for cattle. Done. Now once they build those walls, which I'll need to get some limestone to do, Might have been a smarter idea to build it out of wood, seeing we're struggling to get limestone as it is, but hey, it's not like me to think to the future. I'll tell them to mine some more limestone, we'll get that built, that'll become a pen, we can put some cattle in it, and Bob's your uncle. Fantastic. And there we go. They've now finished the walls for the pen for the cattle. That's great. Here comes Elenor with our cow. Get in there. And now we have a cow. Unfortunately, we've only got one cow. Now, what's the problem with that? So now we just have to wait for another cow to spawn, I guess. Everybody is either in plate mail if they're melee, or they're in mail armor if they're an archer. Everybody that's an archer now has a crossbow, and everybody that is melee has a badge. Across the board, we are now breaking down all the excess weapons, armor, clothing, all that, and we're getting on top of it. It's really, really good. Now, there is a problem with that. Us now prioritizing deconstructing of items and weapons and such is cutting into our big major project that we got going on over here. But that's all right. We need to make sure that the settlement still thrives while we're still doing our other little projects. But everybody's really, really happy, which that's good. Across the board, some are even in the green. So we're doing well. Now, part of their happiness might be the fact that now their bedrooms are quite large. They've got a really nice quality bed. It could even be the fact that we've changed the schedule, that now they don't get a break in the middle of the schedule, but they get 2 big breaks either side, which really works. We've done a hell of a lot of researching, which that's fantastic. We've researched a lot of things. And across the board, we've really specialized all our storage spaces and made sure that each one is holding exactly what should be in there, which I know that should have been something I did a long time ago, but I've been really struggling to find room for places. So I just sort of made do with what I had. And we now have a cow. Yay, cow. So I think across the board, we've got a lot done this episode. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.